What up, naughty steppers? It's Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about the new EP from Guillotine, released on Odio Records, Magnitude. This is the second EP of 2018 for the young Brit Stanley Davis on the recently formed Odio Records label, a follow-up to the Chopper EP, the first on Odio, showcasing his development as a dubstep producer and a real statement maker for the label in its earliest stages. However, it wasn't the first multi-track Odio project, as it did come after the Issue 1 compilation, released at the beginning of the year to launch the label. The first track of which being Guillotine's Madhouse, a song which has garnered a lot of praise across the dubstep scene this year already. I myself have experienced it being played out by the likes of Chime and Gentleman's Club, amongst several others that I can't remember off the top of my head, and I ain't getting bored of it. And taking his remix of Nasco's About You into account as well, 2018 has undoubtedly been the year of explosion for him into the dark electronic music consciousness. This all coming after years of releasing for other labels such as Most Addictive and Rushdown, but it's with Odio that he seems to have finally found a home. Because it's in the last half year or so that he's taken on a whole other musical personality in comparison to what he was producing originally. Putting himself in the same bracket as producers such as Graphite and E-Craze, in going for that super shiny, acidic, metallic dubstep that has been favoured by many producers in recent times. Evident in all of Guillotine's 2018 work so far, and undoubtedly present once again in this latest multi-track project. The acidity of the heaviness being evident from the opener and title track, Magnitude, where these glistening growls emerge from underneath in the build, doing the same thing in the drop following this unravelling, belching croak noise. A BRIDDIM section that is brimming with metallic jabs and uneasy background sounds, a very full mix that is both thumping and mind-melting. The second drop being of the same ilk, yet more stop-start and jagged, making it more impactful as a result, getting at you with every chance it has. It is the progressions, however, that take the dubstep in this opening track to another level. The percussion, thickened in these sections to give the dubstep a mightier feel, has more presence and leaves more of a mark on the listener as a development from what precedes it. Could have done with a little more variation over the course of the song, but those changes make it a go-to track on a heaviness basis. The dubstep in the second track, Density, pounds almost as hard, but the synths are even more sinewy and luminescent. I particularly enjoy those shimmering notes that come in first at 1 minute 20, very vivid and shed a whole new light on the track at that point. The progression is jarring and off-putting at first, but these bubbly notes come out of nowhere to save the day, quickened in an efficient manner. The liberation and energy of this sound is its main selling point, retaining that feeling in the second drop with slight alterations in intensity and note placement. It's grungy, oozy and blinding all at once. Points where I do think it's lacking spice, but I think you have to admire Davis's willingness to throw the listener's attention this way and that. Jumping forward to the closer, Notch, this is probably the track with my least favourite dubstep on the EP, to be frank. It's one glaring wave of bright dubstep sound after another, atop this very to-the-point riddim backdrop. I like the image it conjures of a machine falling over itself, a robot trying to wade through everything in its path, but sonically it's incessant and a bit too much to handle. Into the second drop, it gets its manic nature across well, and I can appreciate the weird sprightliness of it overall. But it's a tad empty, bereft of flavour and without purpose, surprising for him considering how rich his dubstep can be, but you can't expect that level of quality in all of his tracks. And I've saved analysing the heaviness of the third track, Juggernaut, until now, because it has my favourite sound of the whole EP. This bellowing low-end growl, first used in the progression to the first drop, drawn out, somewhere between a vehicle motor and a roaring dinosaur. Fantastic how this sound takes centre stage following the original release, which is more ravenous, hungry, beastly dubstep, tearing at whatever stands in its way. But those growls really do elevate it to new heights, unleashing the monster within. The fact that the second drop starts with that sound shows you just how much Davis rates it. The second drop overall being a good mix of the first half and the progression, before going on one final venture in the third drop, where the growl is even muddier, swampier, grungier. Hate to say it, but my lasting impression is that he could have changed it up here, that he overdoes it slightly. But lest that take away from the impact of the original growl, because oh my, it slaps. So as you can see, the Magnitude EP is very much underpinned by this shiny, metallic, acidic dubstep approach, yet there's much more to these 4 tracks than that. The sound design is mad good throughout, something which you find mostly in the drops but which is also evident in the very clean and snappy percussion, taking place mostly in the introductions and midsections. We get a glimpse of this at the start of the EP with that drip-dropping intro to the title track, the gloomy musicality of which is gripping behind those crisp drums. This is also noticeable in the introduction to Juggernaut, bouncy, laid back, slight space laces feel as it journeys above you. Again, the percussion is very neat and tidy. In density, the percussion is most evident in the midsection, giving the image of cognition as the machine goes into hibernation before being revived to wreak even more havoc. But returning to this idea of acid dubstep quickly, another thought I have whilst listening to this EP is that there are some stark similarities with Sudden Death. Crazy bits of likeness here. For example, the first main synth in density, around 13 seconds in, is the exact kind of sound that you would find in Sudden Death's Junk World EP. Boop boop. Boop boop. Or the first build to Notch with those futuristic synths running over the top of a bass chugging background. Leaves me thinking not that he's taking a style in any way, it's a few brief moments here and there, but more that they should collaborate. Jesus Lord, what a sweet, acidic, filthy dubstep baby those two would come up with. But beyond that, there are a few other spicy moments that I'm really living for, and will see me coming back to a couple of these tracks again and again. I enjoy how the drop sequences in density end in this muffled, filtered way, following the shimmering notes and bubbly stuff I mentioned earlier. I also enjoy the patience of the builds in Juggernaut, carrying the main synth into them from the intro, drums reaching further with every second, and those brief, reticent interludes within the drops of this track, almost time-stopping in their nature, a good moment of reflection amidst the surrounding chaos. But overall, it's an EP in which I either get swept up in the force of it, or find myself appreciating the inner workings more. And if it's the latter, then there are definitely moments that are slightly off, without enough going for them, the direction of them not being quite clear. But if you're appreciating the might and strength of it more, then it is a bellowing monster of a project. This thing is just straight up ferocious, more so than his previous Chopper EP, an unforgiving style that is just one repeated hit in the face after another. And if that's your kind of thing, then you're in the right place. On an ideas level, it's on point and not in almost equal measure, the former slightly outweighing the latter, but the brutality of the delivery is undeniable. Really nice bounce to most of it too, swaggering in this robotic, malfunctioning kind of way. A lot going for his sound now, a wealth of different sounds and effects on display, doing well to take your attention in different directions on multiple occasions. Honestly, he must have so much fun making this music. As I've been saying, at times this EP does need a little more ingenuity for it to be great, a couple more adventurous ideas to take it to the next level. But generally another solid audio EP, excited to see where Davis will go with his music next, whether he'll change or stick with this style for the foreseeable future. Now, in terms of my favourite track from Magnitude, I think I'm going to have to go with the third track, Juggernaut. Has the most going for it, introduction is unique within the EP, builds are great, midsection is well managed, and those growls, oh lordy, have mercy on my soul. And in terms of recommendations, if you enjoyed this EP, then anyone that's dipping into that acidic form of dubstep that I've been talking about, mentioned them already, but Sudden Death, Graphite, E-Craze, and a couple others like Somnium Sound and Answered, and Parne, Muir and Basic, who have also released 4 audio this year. And so that is that for another review on the Nawtystep channel, this time of the new Guillotine EP, released on Odio Records, Magnitude. Thank you very much, and as always, for tuning in. Be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts on Magnitude. What did you guys make of it? What was your favourite track of the 4? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the notification bell along the way so you can be notified whenever I upload to the Nawtystep channel. Next to my head there should be some other dubstep reviews on the channel, including my review of Guillotine's Chopper EP, so if you enjoyed this one then be sure to check those out too. On a personal level, it's actually mad to see how much my videos have changed from one Guillotine review to the other. Pretty crazy, to be honest. Don't forget to like and follow Nawtystep across social media if you haven't already, with everything linked, including those recommendations, in the description box down below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure as always to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.